everyone. I'm Alex,
Alex,
25
25
years
years
old
old.
this year, and I'm NG's boyfriend. I'm currently working as a QC analyst or slash analytical chemist in Sydney, and I'm currently in a long distance with her for 4 years.
My name is Angie and I'm 24 this year and I am currently unemployed. I have finished university and I am currently having a long distance relationship with Alex and we have been a couple for 4 years. So, okay, let's start our podcast. So this podcast, we initially wanted to do this is because for something different, because all this while we have been celebrating our anniversary together, but since last year we were unable to do that. So this is a new idea that we have come up with. So if you would like to stay, then please stay along and shall we get into it?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
so this podcast is sort of like a reflection podcast for us to look back and to see what we can improve in our relationship. So there will be several questions, and then what we would do is we will pick some questions, and then we will answer and elaborate as much as we can. I pick number 15.
15. What qualities do you appreciate in me?
So, what quality? So, you want me to start first, is it?
No, that's okay. I will start first.
Okay.
So, the quality that I actually appreciate in you is that you know how to care for a person. Like you know when someone like for example like me, when I needed space, you actually do really give me the space I want and instead of like cling to me. And also sometimes when I say I'm hungry or something or I'm thirsty or something, you actually Uber the food or drinks to me. And it's kind of expensive. The price I know is like, oh my god, one meal or one drink can cost you about like 100 plus ringgit.
Yeah, that's how, I mean, that's the only one of the ways that I can show care for you because now that we are in a pandemic, we can't possibly meet each other, and there are several things that are restricted and we can't do much. So, this is one of the ways that I can show my love for you.
Yeah, that's why I said like I really appreciate in that kind of care.
Okay, thank you. So for me, I think qualities that I appreciate in you is that you are very true to your word and you really show love in many ways that I couldn't even imagine. For example, it's like our opinions don't match with each other or sometimes we clash, and it's always you come to me and show that love, that even though you are mad but you still love me, that kind of feeling that I feel like for couples these days is kind of hard to achieve, like because so it's so difficult to just put down our egos, I mean in general, like everyone have their own egos, right? So it's very hard to put down, and even with that, it's like the love overpowers, your love for me overpowers everything. So I think that is one of the things that I really, really appreciate. And
Since we are in the topic of like you mentioned about the argument or something. So when I say don't bombard me with words, just give me some time to type it. So you did really give me some time to like say what I want to say, like give me the space and you yeah, that like from my past experience with um with my ex, they actually just keep texting. They didn't even give you like a time to respond. They don't even like um trying to listen to you, trying to listen to what you say. But you, it's sort of like different because you actually give the time for me to respond and you listen to me. Like both of us actually sort of like reflect on what is going on, what is wrong with it. It's like the best, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right. Now I'm gonna pick without looking at it.
Mm.
Let's try your lucky number 9.
What would you change about this past year?
If I really want to change, I want to change the time. We are growing old too fast, like too quick.
Mm.
Like it's very quick. Like we couldn't even really like spend enough time together because since we are in LDR and also during this pandemic, plan to like go for holidays, travel, and that's why we can be physically together. But yeah, I just feel like I want to change the time backwards before the COVID happens. I can bring you here. We can really stay here and start doing what we wanted as we planned.
What I want to change is, um, I think it will be my birthday because I was very, very sure that you will be able to be back finally, for the first time in 4 years for my birthday. And if I would change this past year, it would be that day itself because I remember I was really looking forward to it. But sadly, you couldn't come back, and then the situation got a lot worse than before. If I have the ability, I would really change that because I really want you to celebrate my birthday with me together, and spend time together like we always do. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the most regretful thing. We've
Yeah.
been together for 4 years because we are able to celebrate
Mm.
Valentine's Day. We're able to celebrate my birthday. We're able to celebrate our
Anniversary.
anniversary.
Mm.
The only thing we couldn't celebrate is on your birthday. Like even though we do celebrate, just like not something fancy at all.
So let's move on to the next question. Okay, for me, I'll choose number 18. Oh no. Okay.
What is the biggest strain in our relationship? Biggest strain.
Biggest thing.
Uh,
You want to talk about it?
you rather spend more time on BTS rather than me. Like
That's true.
I do love BTS as well. Just that the fact that I dislike you, you just spend more time with BTS rather than me.
Okay. That's something that I can work on, like to have more balanced time between you and BTS. So
Like I'm not saying this is just like a happy complaint. But yeah, I mean actually I do enjoy like when you started supporting BTS during your own time, and I actually have my own me time to do my own thing as well. So I think it's like a both mutual benefit. It's just that sometimes when I miss you so much that I needed you, you're like, oh sorry, I'm standing for BTS right now. Can I call you? Talk to you later. It's like when the important time I needed you, you're like, sorry, sorry.
that's something that I can look to. Oh well, but for me, I think biggest strain would be um, it would be this year where I was having my final year thesis dissertation, and it was really hard because the distance itself is very difficult for me to cope in the beginning. And so I would say like every night I was feeling really, really downcast, very sad.
Yeah. I still remember like the few nights where
Yeah.
you just keep complaining and whining how
I
hard
was
it
weak,
is,
I was
and
crying. It
you
was,
need me physically to support you.
yeah. So it was because all this while before our fourth year, it felt like the strain hasn't really reached and hit me yet, right in the heart. But I think during my final year thesis period of time, it was really difficult, and I think that was the biggest strain for me, like during our 4 years relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, I regret because I was planning to come back during that time as well. So, at least like we can be spending time physically together to like sort of like support you during your thesis period. Unfortunately, that's when COVID hit.
Mm.
Um, I only been successfully come back during last year Chinese New Year, and
Yeah.
after that, because I was still planning to come back on last year July, this things just couldn't work out.
So now we just have to wait until everything goes back to normal and see how that goes. Right.
See how that goes.
Okay. What do you
Oh, what do you find sexiest about me?
find? Okay. You want to answer first?
Hmm. So I find the sexiest is your dimple.
My
Like
dimple.
when, yeah, like when you like when you smile, it's so beautiful. Like like the dimple is so sexy that I want to keep pinching it, like pinch it out.
Mm, okay. Well, that that is something I've never heard before, but yeah, thank you. So for me, I think I mentioned this a lot of times. It will be your hair, especially when it's after shower. Like I remember I was like fangirling all the time, and even until now, I really like your hair, and it feels so soft.
What if like I keep shaving my head, become bald?
I've seen you bald.
I know, like
I doesn't love you.
you say you like my hair, but like
Yeah lah. Then I can do like that. The mortal. Keep feeling
what
your shaved head.
what do you think my head is? A stress ball?
Yeah, I think so. It calms me down.
Right. Let's do 44.
Are you getting enough quality time to spend with your friends, your hobbies, or things that matter to you?
Yes, but I know it's a no for you because previously we spent too much time talking to each other, where you told me that um, you don't actually have enough time for your own thing, especially during this BTS month where
Mhm.
you need to stand for them. So that's why I did suggest something, I think a few weeks ago, where we just talk maybe um, just few times per week, and we just check on each other on texting. And yeah, like after we implementing that suggestion, I also feel that yeah, it's kind of true. Like I do enjoy like the quality time that I spend with my friends, my family, and I think you do as well.
Yes, I'm having enough quality time, and I think this new suggestion that we made really helps us individually a lot, and how we can spend enough time with our family and friends on the things we like, as well as just talking with each other on the phone every afternoon. I think, I mean, I'm very contented in that sense. Yeah.
Sorry, he that. I was just looking at you.
Okay.
Right.
I pick number 28.
28
What has kept you in our relationship?
relationship.
What do you like about it?
Okay, so let me alter the question a little bit. So, what has kept you in long distance relationship? What do you like about it? That's
Mm,
more kind of a situation right now. I actually have more like a personal space, to be honest. I'm also afraid that, when we finally can be together, stay together, be in the same room or something, which also I'm looking forward to it. But at the same time, the only thing I'm afraid is we have conflicts on our pride, on our own rule, because we have been on long distance for so many years and we are used to having our own personal space, our own rule, our own thing,
mm,
our own rhythm. What if like suddenly we stay together and during the morning and you're that kind of person sleep until enough and you wake up during the morning, but I'm the kind of person where if I say I want to wake up at this time and I have to wake up at this time, when this kind of conflict that happen, right? I'm not sure is it a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad as well. What does keep me going into this kind of long distance is that I really love you. I
mm,
really, really love you. And of course, like most people will often ask, don't you get exhausted, craving physically, craving for like, things like normal couple do?
mm,
Yes, I do crave. That's not of a choice because I really love you. And I have made my choice that I have to endure through all this hardship, all this thing, just because I really love you and I want to spend like my rest of life with you. Because of how you treated me and how I felt like I'm loved as well. That's why I decided to stay instead of,
mm.
just break things off.
So for me, is like there is so many guys that I've encountered, like whether be it like crushes or just like people who I admire or look up to, even friends. Like then I see how their lifestyle is, and then how I met you, and then how our thoughts and values are aligned together. And I keep thinking that, I mean, if I'm not with you and I'm with another person, another guy who is my boyfriend instead of you, like how would that dramatically change my thoughts, my actions? How would that turn out to be? So like with you is like I'm secured. I don't feel that kind of um envy or jealousy that much that often, but still there's this kind of security that you provided for me, which I really really love, and I'm really secured being with you. So that's one thing. And another thing is that how you treated my parents and how you treated your mom. So there's always this saying, right, that if you want to find a man, of course you see how that man treat their own parents. And I've seen the way how you treated both our parents, and how much care and thoughts that you put into doing, for example, like sending presents or flowers for my mom, and then how you treat your mom when you come back to Malaysia, and things like small things like this, how much love you have for them. And that is what kept me wanting to be with you, like even though we are in a long distance relationship, like what you said earlier, like having personal space. That is one thing also that I really really like despite people cannot handle that kind of separation from each other, where they always crave for physical touch. I mean, I also crave for physical touch, but in some ways I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But sometimes when things get hard, for example, like what we talked about earlier, about during my thesis period, where things are getting hard and I really need you. Okay, that is for another story. But for the other times, I'm okay with it, and I really enjoy our long distance relationship, and it's something, an experience that is very hard to get during pre-COVID. But now that COVID, everybody is going through long distance relationship, right? but during pre-COVID, not everyone can get. And it's something that I treasure and I held to my heart like a badge of honor at that. Like, you know what? I've gone through 4 years of LDR and this is what I've been through. I've overcome it and I'm proud of it. You know, that kind of thing. And you might say that is a bit like, huh? Are you proud of it? But it's something that I like and I enjoy it as well. Like, I have my own personal time. I fangirl to my favorite artists and do my own stuff. At the same time, I have you, and basically, it's like having the best of both worlds. So I really like that.
That's why we decided to, when you moved to Melbourne,
Mm.
we decided to get a separate room, but in the same unit. That's why.
Yeah.
That's how we can get our personal space,
Mm.
where you won't invade to my space and I won't invade to your space, but we still share like a common thing.
Yeah.
That's now my turn to pick. I'll pick number 50. Being in LDR, what if the partner stop texting you or start leaving you on scene? So that it's like ghosting.
Mm.
That means they lost interest in you, and when you ask, they say, "I don't know what to talk about or how to respond."
Then also continue. Other responses, I can't handle the distance anymore. I don't want to give you false expectations.
Let's break this into two separate questions so that it's easier for us to talk about.
Mm.
So the first one is being in LDR, someone ghosted you.
Mm.
So I'll say that is not meant for you. That is really not meant for you. Because ghosting, it's a really, really, really toxic behavior to me. But because you just left someone hanging there, and people just sort of like keep waiting for you, waiting, and people could wait for years. Tell you like how we handle this kind of situation when we have like a heated argument and we can't solve it. So normally it's like normal argument we tend to solve it on that day. There's a saying that don't go to bed angry,
Mm.
because going to bed angry you actually can't sleep well and you sort of like overthink. That's why we sort of like both of us sort of have like a principle of, if we argue on that day, we try our best. It's not that it's a must, but we did try our best to like solve it on that day, on that night, like before sleep. If we can't really, solve it, I wouldn't really go ghost my girlfriend. I'll just tell her like, okay, so can we just like stop here and continue tomorrow? Um, just that is actually not really a good time for us to keep talking, because you are defending your own point and I'm still defending my own point. We are not coming to the same page. That's how we trying to settle. You also can say this is kind of like a ghosting stuff, but to me, at least like when I say I'll get back to you tomorrow, I'll really get back to her tomorrow.
Mm.
But I'm not really like playing games or something. I really do what I say.
To add on to your point is that we also have a 3-day rule, where
Oh yes, we have a 3-day rule.
we must get back to each other by the third day. If the argument is really, really big, then by hook or by crook, we must get back to each other on the third day. And so far, it has worked well for us. And um, the argument is able to be resolved. But even though it takes time, but still having that 3-day rule that we applied during the first year of our relationship is very helpful. Right. And then they say, does that mean they lost interest in you? And when you ask, they say, I don't know what to talk about or how to respond. So this one, I would say that both sides need to have equal responsibilities, as in they play an equal role. Let's say your partner says, I don't know what to talk. Maybe you can offer suggestions like, okay, how about we come up with some activities that maybe both of us will like? or let's play some games and uh like spend time with each other. Like the main thing is both parties, both individuals have to come up with efforts to either resolve this problem of not knowing what to say after the spark is gone, and that's where the relationship dulls, right? So both sides have to play and to make effort to come up with different ideas and different activities on how to keep that relationship going. Because if we don't, then slowly um, everything becomes dull, and by the time if nothing's really moving forward, maybe one of the partner will say, I think we should stop here. Like I don't see where is this going. We should take a break or something like that. So it could end badly. So what I could advise is that um, both have to put in efforts. It's about a two-way relationship, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a very good point about effort. I also think that when, let's say, you're mature enough and your partner start to ghost you, you don't straight away, think of something breaking up or what. Let's think of something, it's good where you want to let him know that it's time to be matured, like teach him or
Mm.
her by not forcing them to do so. Like, what I'm trying to say is just grow together. Because being in a relationship, it's about growing together. When you grow, you learn more about your partner. It's
Mm.
not like you like not every partner is perfect, but then it's actually depends on you. Do you want to make it almost perfection?
Yeah, it's true.
Actually about you. If you don't like it's actually linked to that effort point. If you don't put in like if both of you not putting in effort, so what's the point? Just like one side putting effort and one side is not putting effort. It's really not meant for you because like you just tire out yourself and emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted, not to say mentally as well. I hope we actually answer your question
Yeah.
and move on to the second part.
Yeah.
Like other response is I can't handle the distance anymore. I don't want to give you false expectation. This is where things complicate because like it's actually all about trust. It's
Mm.
all about trust. People can't stay in long distance is because your partner is not trusting you to stay loyal.
Mm.
All I can say for this particular part is that your partner really don't trust you. If they trust you, why wouldn't they can't handle that?
For all long distance relationship, LDR couples out there, what we both, Alex and I, can offer advice to you guys is that don't enter into a relationship, especially for long distance, if you are not willing to handle the consequences, as in the pros and the cons of being in a long distance relationship. So, what do you mean by I don't want to give you false expectations? Like, before that, you should already know that, okay, if I in the long distance relationship, what should I expect from it? Like for example, okay, I should expect that my partner will be not be with there for me all the while, and I should learn how to adapt, for example. Or maybe a partner is a working employee, and I should be mature enough to know that I can't be texting him all day or be on the phone with him all day and keep bothering him during his work, that kind of thing. So couples, before they go into this LDR phase, they should really sit down and talk to each other, like be really, really honest with each other. What do you want from this relationship and where do you want to go from there?
I do see your point, but most couple when they go into the LDR, they don't actually think about that. what I'm trying to say is they just say like, okay, yeah, just for a few years I can do it. But when they've gone through halfway, it
Mm.
tends to give up.
Yeah.
That's
True, true.
it's sometimes it's just that one of the reason is that one of the reason that they give up is because they don't trust each other. The second reason is that they try to cling or crave for physical intimacy from each other, and when they can't do that or they can't provide them, they tend to cheat when this kind of problem comes up. My advice would similar to Angie's. It's just that really sit down, think of all the possibility,
Mm.
especially like as negative as it is. I know that some sorry to say, but some guy would do this like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna say, just gonna assure her, but then when it comes to action, you can't really do it. It's like when Angie asked me, are you sure you're willing to do LDR with me? Are you sure you want to be with me? Like like maybe some of the guy will be like, oh yeah, yeah, I can do it, I can do it. But then when really like struggling, you're like, oh sorry, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Like I'll just
I don't want to give you false
yeah,
expectations.
like things like that. This is really childish at all. Like so childish and immature. If if you feel if you feel offended, then yeah, I'm talking about you. To me, I actually would encourage people to start LDR if they're not really ready. And I also know that some of the viewers might be couple and might thinking to start LDR. Like really, like I beg you, please, really sit down together, think about the consequences, think about how it's going to like break you guys off, that kind of possibility, and how you guys gonna handle. Like that's how me and Angie did with when we come with like so many situation like what is going on. If this comes on, what are we going to do? The kind of expectation we have on each other. And I think that's the best assurance that you I that's the best assurance that you can give to your partner. And also like to those who are currently having LDR, I know that you're struggling as well. I do feel you, but really like the wait is worth it. Trust me. The wait is really worth it. Do not give up. For the single one, just don't be in a relationship when you're not ready.
Mm. Okay.
Stay committed when you say you want to be in a relationship. Just stick to your own word. If you can't do it, don't say you can't do it. Find a way to do it. Because you're not just wasting your time, you're wasting other person's time as well. And it's kind of like, it's not good at all. So that's like my advice for everyone. And I think that's it for today's video. See you guys.
See you.